Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about detecting deception. Um, so there are several things that are involved in detecting deception, and the first thing that is involved is taking the veil of innocence off. And by that I mean um, the trust of others. So if you are someone who is usually trustworthy of people, you are very possibly a primary target to psychopaths or narcissists. Um, so you have to eat the fruit of knowledge, which will inevitably take you out of the Garden of Eden, and then you will be exposed to what reality truly is like. Um, so that's by analogy of knowledge. I honestly believe that that's what they're referring to in the Bible. That you have to be a victim of a deception, and then through suffering you will start realizing um, the ugliness of everything. So, well, I know it's an ugly thing to say and to tell people, oh yeah, don't trust anyone. It can sound paranoid. It can sound, um, it's a lot. It really is a lot. But if you are usually trusting of people, you are setting yourself up to be deceived. So, uh, I mean, do not assume immediately that everyone is trying to deceive you. I just say be aware, be more aware, and just open yourself to an ugly truth, um, where possibly where there is a possibility of where everyone does not have your best interest in mind. Okay, so most people aren't able to see deception because most people are not people that are constantly and frequently deceiving others. So those people who are most gullible most of the time are extremely trustworthy, and they are people who just have a nature of being gentle and trustworthy. Um, so it is an ugly reality, and if you don't accept it, you will be, for the most part, put yourself open, or put yourself in a position of vulnerability for deceivers. So also another reason is because deception. Well, when you open your world of possibilities to those where it is possible that people who you can trust, who you usually trust, deceive you, it changes your entire framework, or your entire perception of your reality. But just remember that perception is not reality. Again, perception is not reality. Whoever tells you that perception is reality is a complete liar. Now, I'm going to talk about now. I mean, if you're alive, I'm sure you heard or saw of Sherlock Holmes, and something very um, a very famous quote that he said was "Don't just look, observe." So this person had a lot of there's a lot of truth in that, and by that I mean that most people simply look. Most people do not observe. They are not paying attention to the subtle details of reality. And by that I mean that most people who are having a conversation with anyone else, most of the time they are not really focused on the other person. They are merely focused on what they are about to say next, which is normal for most people. And but if you are not keeping your focus on the other person, you are missing a lot of information that is right in front of you. And by that I mean, you miss out on tones of voice, you miss out on facial expressions and gestural language. Now, gestural language is something that it is a language that has no sound, um, and it's a language that we already speak. So we have something called mirror neurons that enables us to feel without actually, or how do I explain this, to perceive the emotions of the other person without actually going through their experience. So if you're having with a conversation with another person, you can literally just think of yourself uh, displaying that facial expression, and you can already feel the emotion. Um, you can, when you're having a conversation with someone, you can also mimic it. Do not make it a little bit more subtle. Don't make it so obvious. Like, don't make it don't make your facial expressions more intense than theirs. But just by the mere fact that you're copying their facial expression, I mean, that pretty much sends a message that you are paying a lot of attention to the other person, which helps build rapport. But it will also you're also going to feel their emotion, which is going to tell you what exact emotion they are feeling at the time of expressing. So the tone of voice says the the tone of voice can say so much. Like, the tone of voice can even say the diametrical opposite thing from what the person is expressing verbally. So, for example, oh, I like that shirt. Do you think that the person, do you think that if I would tell you that, would you actually believe that I actually like your shirt? No, right? I wouldn't. Or what about, um, oh, good morning. Do you really think that I am actually wishing you a good morning? No, I'm not. So the tone of voice, when you contextualize it, context and expressions and tones of voice with the context is the equal to truth. Does that make sense? So now, when detecting deception, congruency is key. And by that, I mean that everything has to be in harmony. For example, if I'm having a conversation with you, so my tone of voice, with my gestural language, with my facial expressions, with the message that I am vocalizing, has to be harmonious. Everything has to make sense. If even one little thing is off, it is indicative of deception. So pay attention, because the truth is in the details. You can literally, if you're having a conversation with someone, you can literally know if they are saying the truth just by observing their tone of voice and their facial expressions. So now, the reason that you have to pay attention at all times is because there's something called micro expressions. So micro expressions are, how do I say this? Okay, so there is something called closed loop thought processing and open loop thought processing. So the closed loop thought processing is pretty much means that your nervous system is directly connected to your brain, which means that whenever the person has a thought, so thoughts and facial expressions, they are a closed loop thought process. So that means that there is nothing in between. Immediately after the person has a thought, the face will express it. So then now it takes a little bit. So when the person doesn't want you to know what their true emotions are, the closed loop thought process becomes an open loop thought process where the consciousness or kicks in, and the nervous system says, oh shit, we cannot express this emotion because we don't want this person to know the truth. So then the conscious mind will retract the facial expression. So it's something that takes fractions of seconds. So you have to always pay attention. So then again, I will explain to you what the difference between open and closed loop thought processing with more detail. So another example of an open loop thought process is if, let's say that there's a hot stove, right? And I put my hand on it. Do you think that I'm going to put my hand on it and be like, oh, I think that's hot. Oh, I think it might burn my skin. I think I better take my hand off. So no, it's a closed loop thought process, because when I say put it, it's fucking hot, boom, I pull it in. There is no thinking in between. So that's how connected your facial expressions and your thoughts are. So if someone expresses something with their face, but they're telling you the opposite, just know that the face does not lie. The tone of voice does not lie. The facial expressions do not lie. The gestural language does not lie. Or in other words, the body will never lie. Believe the body before you believe what the person is telling you. Let's see. So deceptive people use language to fog your mind. And by that, I mean that someone can be telling you, oh, I care about you, when in reality, they are acting completely against you. So, before judging people from their image of what they tell you, judge them by the results of their actions onto your life. So let's say that I came into your life, right? And I tell you that, I don't know, that I love you, where I have a lot of fun with you, but yet I'm telling you to spend a lot of time with me. And then I'm pushing you to do drugs. And then I am pushing you to have unprotected sex with strangers. And then I end up just telling all of your friends that you're a drug addict, and that I don't know, that all of a sudden you turn into a drug addict. So even though when I'm with you, I am telling you that I love you, but yet when you are not around, I am smearing your reputation with everyone else, with my friends and your friends. Do you think, even though you don't see it, you can also just know by, even though you don't see it, the results of my actions are negative, are impacting your life negatively. So then again, do not judge people by what they say, but judge them accordingly to the results of their actions on your life. If your life all of a sudden began to turn to shit after one person after one person came into your life, is your life going to shit on its own, or do you think it has something to do with the other person? Which is the main reason that I'm telling you, be skeptical of everything and everyone, because the truth lies in the details. So then again, to close this video, incongruency in any way, shape, or form, be the results of their actions, being facial expressions, gestural language, or any other type of incongruency, means that there is deception happening. Oh yeah, I think one more thing about, I'm not sure if I already covered this, but I'm gonna say it again just in case it needs reiteration. So gestural language before language was, I might cut this off the video, but if not, oh well. If I found that I already said it. So gestural language is something that we already know how to speak. Before language was invented, we had to communicate somehow. We had to communicate somehow before language was invented. So we internally already know how to read people. But it's a language that we already need to speak, that we need to relearn. And you will only learn it by practicing it. So with practice, you can get to the point where you can see by their gestural language for what people are thinking without them even saying anything. And if that is not power, I mean, it's something, I don't know what is. But imagine that will, if you become so well versed in the show language that you're able to see deceit from the first 10 seconds of interacting with someone, that will give you so much power, because that way you will be pretty much unfuckwittable. No one will be able to deceive you, and that is, in my opinion, the best way to protect yourself from people who do not have your best interest in mind. That is the end of what I have to say today. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please put them in the comments. I will do my best to put one of these videos every day. Please subscribe, because this information is information that I feel morally obligated to share, because it would have made my life so much easier, and it would have saved me a lot of heartache if I would have known this before I went through what I went through, which is something that I can possibly share with you in the future. But we're still getting to know each other. So thank you for watching, and have a good day.